You're listening to Success Through Connections, the podcast where we explore the power of relationships in business and in life. This episode is brought to you by Up Until Now, helping business professionals turn the page to their next chapter of success.
Welcome back to Success Through Connections. We have another episode today with something a little different, and I'm very excited. I'm bringing in Stacey Mayo. She is an artist, and she's a self-taught artist. So Stacey learned how to draw and paint much later in life. She didn't start off that way, and she didn't think she had an artistic bone in her body until she bought a book about how to draw, and she realized that she actually had quite a knack for it. And I've seen her work. She's got more than a knack. She's very good. So she's worked on her drawings and painting skills, and she's really at a pretty high level at this point. She uses different mediums. She uses acrylics and pastels, and she just creates really beautiful pieces. She has different styles from abstract to street art, and she's done quite a few commissioned pieces. And so we'll get into that as well. So first of all, I just want to say, welcome, Stacey.
Thank you, Zelda. It's delightful to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk today to our listeners about art in the workplace, because art can really affect the business culture. It can affect your mood and your emotions. I know when I go into buildings, one of the first things you see is the art. I mean, they're all over hospitals and office buildings, and it's just unique pieces. So I know it has a big play, and I want to get to that in just a second. But first, I'd like for you to share with us your journey as an artist. I mean, how did you get into art, and what inspires your work?
Well, I started out as a photographer very young, probably around age 16. I really got into photography and loved it, and bought increasingly higher levels of cameras and discovered I had quite an eye for photography, and had my photography later in life, not earlier, much later in life, probably about 10 years ago, or well, more than that, maybe about 12, 15 years ago, started exhibiting my photography, and won honorable mention for it at an exhibit in Atlanta, and had it around town at different places, and got really a lot of acknowledgement for my photography. And then at one point, I just was drawn to drawing. And you shared my story about never thinking I could and finding out that I could. And my interest just kept growing. And all I wanted to do was try different ways, different methods. And it's my kind of thing to see, what else can I do? I love change and trying new things and finding out what I'm able to do. So I started out doing comic kind of drawings, comics. And then when I moved to Asheville, I started doing portraits. My first portrait was of Stevie Wonder, and my second one was of Mick Jagger. And I realized I can do this. And then I did an abstract mountain scene looking out my window in Asheville. And then I just kept expanding to beach scenes, because I now live at the beach and love the beach, and would use my photographs as references. And then I just started exploring things like cubism recently, and abstract expressionism, and impressionism, and just have found I enjoy doing all of them and seeing what else is possible. It gets me out of my box. And it also provides different people with the styles that they particularly like.
That's true. Do you have a favorite piece that you've done, or even a favorite piece that you've done for someone's business even?
I do have a favorite piece that I've done for a business. It is an abstract multimedia. And I wish I could show it here, but I can't. But it has colors and angles that have it be it pops. When I want to say it's popped, your eye is drawn to it. It has gold, purple, green, blue, and those are the main colors in it.
What's the
And
story behind that piece?
the story behind that piece is a great story. So I was in Aruba one year, and there was a lot of art in the hotel I stayed that I thought was beautiful and multimedia. And it turns out this artist was giving lessons.
Oh,
So I decided to do a one-on-one lesson in her home with my husband to learn her technique. And so this painting is as a result of learning her multimedia technique, where she's all kinds of textures. Like there's fishnet in it. There's this piece in the middle that's 3D that looks kind of like a guitar, but it's not a guitar. So it really draws you. She thought I was really brave. Like we got to pick pieces, and she thought I was really brave in the pieces I picked to put on my picture. But it was like, it was just what I did. I didn't think of it as brave. I just thought of it as what I was drawn to. I call this picture abstract geometry. And it's because every angle that you look at in it, which it has many, provides you with, like if you're sitting in your office, something for you. So an example would be a certain angle would help you focus more. And if you're looking at gold, it reflects back to your thoughts to help you focus and remember what you wanted to do or say in a project.
interesting.
And then you look at the green part of it, it helps you calm.
Okay.
And same with the blue. And so there's so much in it for someone who's in an office and can look at it and get a lot of support. In addition to, I think it's beautiful. I love it.
I see a lot of art. I see a lot of art as in real estate, I've shown some apartments to people. And when I go into their lobbies or their reception areas, they're absolutely stunning pieces of work, just gorgeous. It's like, I want that work. So what is it that you believe? I mean, art is more than decoration. So what do you believe how does it bring out the emotions in people when you go into these office buildings, and what are they trying to get people to feel or do, or what is the emotion that they want behind it? What works for them?
Well, most people want you to feel welcome and want you to be happy to be there. And it will vary, of course, whether it's like a high-tech environment. So a high-tech environment in the lobby would be something more innovative and progressive. Where a hospital lobby would be something more like a landscape or something more calming and serene.
So how does art impact your mood and your creativity and productivity in an office? If I'm in an office, how does that affect me?
More than you would think. I mean, it's one thing to think it's pretty, which you may or may not think it's pretty. But again, the colors affect you. The scene affects you. So, for example, orange opens up your creativity. Red is good if you want to be in an environment where you need a lot of physical movement.
Okay.
And it kind of helps you just vibrate higher, want to get up and go. So it's really good for any environment because we don't want to be sitting all the time. So again, blue in an ocean helps for flow, like flow of thoughts and ideas with an ocean scene will help that
like
way.
the ocean is blue and it's flowing. So that makes
Yes, exactly.
So are there specific types of art that are better suited for an office environment as opposed to others? Like there's the abstracts and then there's the landscapes. Is there something that's better suited for different types of environments in these offices?
Are you missing out on connections that could change everything? The ultimate networking playbook from Up Until Now is your secret weapon, packed with proven scripts, expert tips, and the must-dos and don'ts for today's modern networker. Whether you're showing up in person or online, this course helps you stand out, get remembered, and make connections that count. Don't let another opportunity pass you by. Relationships aren't built by accident. Tap the show notes now for instant access to the playbook and start building smarter connections today.
Well, there's a lot of similarity, and it really depends on your taste and the environment and what your business is about. So a home office, it really needs to go with the environment that, like the office you work in home, color scheme, of course, you want it to go with. And you can have the theme of your business or not. It does also depend on what pleases your eye and what you want. Do you want to be calm? Do you want to be innovative? So you would likely want several different pieces in your office environment. Like, I look around my office and I get something that inspires me to relax, something that inspires me to be creative. So several pieces are really good to look around you and see several different pieces that support you in different ways.
That makes total sense. So the different colors and the different styles really can affect your mood. If you want to be creative, go look at the orange piece. I've got some art on my wall that's orange and purple, and it's just so, my children call it finger paint. I call it beautiful abstract art.
Exactly. So, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and there is so much truth to it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has different taste, and that's also, of course, very important.
So what are some of the common mistakes that businesses make when they're selecting office art?
Well, one thing is they may be drawn to their own personal taste.
No.
And not considering that everybody has different taste.
Okay.
And that's a real challenge. So you want it to go with the theme of the office environment and what you want to happen there. So because people have different tastes, offices often choose abstracts. Because abstracts are great when there's a lot of people, because different people see different things in an abstract. Always. I always think it's fun when people say, I see this in that, or I see this in your art. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I never saw that in it. So abstracts are really a good thing when there's a lot of people with different tastes, and, the colors will go with your environment.
Well, you can tell from my background, abstract, it's for me. People say, that looks like a maze behind you. I go, no, that was painted on my wall on purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the eye the eye of the beholder. So what advice would you have for somebody who's just getting an office and they have an office and they go, I think I would like to get some art pieces. What's some advice of where to start? How do you start to decide what you want?
Well, the first thought that came to my mind is, don't go, if you can help it, don't go for mass marketed art. The kind you see in discount retail stores that's really cheap. And here's why. In addition to it's good to support artists, those pieces are done by labor and machinery that's of a very low vibration, ink that's very cheap, canvas that's very cheap. And while it may look good, the energy of it is low because all the materials are of a low vibration, done by people, if people are even involved in it, of a low mood, and like an assembly line kind of thing where they get $1 for it or something like that.
So it's better to probably start with trying to find maybe a local artist or an artist online like you.
Right.
And how does one start with that? If they go, okay, I have an office, I want to get some art that's actually commissioned art, right? How does that process work?
So commissioned art is the highest level vibration, and it's really the best if it's in your budget. It's really the best. And you can typically find it pretty affordably, depending on your budget, perhaps starting around $500. And the reason it's the best number one, it's custom for you, your taste, your colors, your ideas. And it's done on the highest quality canvas or paper with the highest quality inks with someone who is typically of absolutely a higher skill level and typically a higher vibration. And all of that affects how you feel when you look at your art. All of that goes into it. And even though you don't notice it, it will affect your mood, your
So,
energy
Stacey,
level, all of that.
what would be the questions starting out to ask the artist? You find an artist, what are some of maybe the top 3 questions you should ask them just to know that you're going to connect with them?
So perhaps you have an idea. The first thing is, can you do something like this? And, a good artist will say yes or no, of course. Yes, that's something I could do. To have some pictures or ideas in mind when you contact someone is a good idea. And a good artist, like what I do is I really collaborate with my customers. Like they come up with a couple of ideas or an idea. They'll send me an image or two and I'll say, I can do it. And then I'll ask them, what colors do you want? What size do you want? Do you have other things you want to bring into it? And then I'll also look at it and tell them what will work and what won't work. And that's before we ever sign any paperwork. We come together to see, we talk on the phone typically and by email to see if I can do something that they would want. And there's no charge for that conversation back and forth.
That's because you want to make sure that you connect and you are on the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's important for both. I tell people I can do anything you want, but there are certain things I don't want to do. And I'll also say, that's not right for me.
So do you notice any trends in office art? Anything new coming in? Anything you find that's different and trending?
I did recently see something that really excited me, and it's like a combination of vintage art and innovation, like bringing together retro with innovative progressive. And I thought, I love that idea. So it's something I want to play around with and do something with. Abstracts are always in. Abstract expressionism is in everywhere.
Well, I know that you also have different series. I know you have I've seen your wine series. I know you have a street series that I've seen a little bit of, and they're absolutely beautiful with those bold, beautiful colors. So
I also have an ocean series.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Which is really popular.
So
yeah.
In looking for more art, and now that we're talking about your art in particular, if someone wants to hire you to commission some art or they want to just see your gallery, is there a website or how can they reach you to find out more about you and your art?
So my website is artbystacey.com, and Stacey is spelled STACEY.com. And on my website, you'll see a lot of different art that I've made into prints. And I print them on stretch gallery, highest level stretch gallery canvas. And they look like originals at a much lower price. And they're available in 4 sizes. And because they're on stretch canvas, you don't have to frame them, or you can frame them if you want. So it's really affordable for people. So that's a good place to go and look. And then if you don't see something you want, you can contact me.
And that's
what else I might have that you might be looking for, or see if I can commission something for you. I don't have all my art on there. And there's a contact form on my website. Or you can email me at Stacey@artbystacey.com. And again, Stacey.
And we'll put all of this in our show notes so people can see, they can read the show notes so that they can get in touch with you. Stacey, this has been very enlightening. Thank you so much. It makes me feel better about the abstract art that I have on my walls. I'm in trend.
You are in trend for sure, Zelda. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much. And so thank you for being on Success Through Connection, Stacey. Talk to you soon.
This is Success Through Connections, where small talk leads to big wins. Today's episode was brought to you by Up Until Now, the company helping you master the art of networking.